Baylor Bears as they host Kansas in a Big 12 showdown. They're coming off a bye week, and before that, a tough win on the road over Iowa State. We'll talk about the Baylor Bears coming up right now on Baylor Game Day.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm 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 all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Live from Touchdown Alley at McLean Stadium on the campus of Baylor University, this is Baylor Game Day.
And as always, Game Day begins with the Bear Walk today as the Baylor Bears made their way from the buses into McLean Stadium. It is homecoming here at Baylor University, and that means a little extra special Bear Walk. Seth Russell and his mom and everybody else getting into the spirit of homecoming and getting ready for a big football game. They host the Kansas Jayhawks today, and it's a game they should win, a game they need to win here at McLean Stadium today. Good afternoon and welcome into Baylor Game Day, everybody. I'm Troy Hine, joined as always by Terrence Ganaway, Dan Ingham, Sean Giggy here. Taylor Williamson will join us later, as will Madison Adams here on the program as we'll get you set for Baylor and KU kicking off at 2:30 this afternoon. We'll take you right up to about 2 o'clock, about a half hour from kickoff. We begin, as we do each and every week, with this week's opening drive. All right, Terrence, you're up first.
All right, also what I want to talk about, will there be rust? That's what I want to know. This team hadn't played in a couple of weeks. They're playing a team that, you know, frankly, they're a lot better than they should win. Will we see the best version of the Baylor Bears today? I'm kind of curious. We have not seen them at times start games and dominate games. I'm curious, will we see that today?
They're coming off a bye week, and Jim Grobe said this team is pretty healthy right now. Nobody's really banged up. I want to know, can they stay that way? They need to stay that way. Kansas is not the team where you need to have players going down, especially since this schedule is so backloaded. You've got Texas, Oklahoma, TCU, West Virginia, Texas Tech on the back end. Those are the games where you need everybody. You cannot suffer any serious injuries today. So try and put some points up early, get those reserves in, and keep guys healthy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to see if they can watch the backups play the second half of that football game today. My question today is Kansas really a better football team than they've been here over the last several years? They've been a team that has struggled in the Big 12, but they gave TCU a real run for their money and almost beat them and probably should have beaten them last week. So is Kansas a better football team, or will Baylor step up and hammer them today the way that they should? The opening drive brought to you by the Waco Mattress Center. Our thanks to them, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think one of the big questions for everybody here is, can Baylor come out off a bye and dominate the way they can? And KD Cannon being back is one of the reasons why they might be able to do that. Yeah,
I'm going to answer a question on your opening drive right there. Yeah. Yes, Kansas is better than they were last year.
They have to be better, right?
They are. They didn't. I'm telling you, people I talk to in college football say David Beatty is going to be a star in coaching. He recruits Texas. He recruited Texas at Texas A&M. So Kansas is going to be good. Maybe not today, though. But they're going to be a program you should watch over the next couple of years.
I thought the KD Cannon discussion, Sean, was interesting the other day. Even Lynx Hawthorne said, I'm glad KD Cannon's back. He's so much fun to watch.
He said he's not just a weapon. He's a weapon of mass destruction. Is how Lynx Hawthorne described it. I mean, KD Cannon is that deep ball threat they haven't had for the past couple games because he's been on the sidelines with that injury. But he's back today, and as long as he's going full speed, which I expect he should be, or at least 90-95%, he's faster than 90 to 95% of the country when he's at 90 or 95%. So that adds that huge deep threat for Seth Russell.
Kansas being better is a good thing for the Big 12, but after losing to TCU the way they did, is that going to help them or does it hurt them?
You know, well, obviously it hurts because, I mean, that's a game they feel like they should have won. You win that, then you can probably look further down and think, hey, maybe we can make a bowl game this year. Right. And so that's got to, but I remember one thing that Art Browse and other coaches have always told me, that 18, 19, 20-year-olds get over losses a lot easier than 40 and 50-year-olds, fans, and guys like us who talk about sporting events. So I think that those guys, they forgot about it. They want to play a football game. So I don't think you can assume that Baylor's going to see a wounded football team today.
Yeah, you hope there's no hangover if you're a Kansas fan. Not that there are many here, but you hope there's no hangover from the, man, we should have played a football game.
Yeah, and that, I mean, yes, I guess that could be a concern, but that would surprise me because, dang it, you get to go out and play in front of 45,000 people and play football. I mean, so if you're Kansas, that's what today's all about.
You know, one of the other things that we want to talk about, and Terrence, I'll bring you in on this, is Shock Linwood's performance at Iowa State was so good a couple of weeks ago. You ran for 246 one time. He ran for 237. How hard is it to do that at this level?
You know, it's not hard when you got offensive linemen that's controlling line of scrimmage, and that's what I started with earlier this segment. Shock Linwood is a great running back, and Terrence Williams is a great spell running back. And what they have been able to do is break tackles and get into secondary. And once the receivers are blocking on the edge, like we do very well with Coach KB and Tate Wallace coaching those guys, I think that really opens up the run game for them to get those big chunks later in the game.
How important was it for Baylor to get Shock Linwood going? He hadn't really gone much throughout the season to that point. They finally opened it up on his behalf a couple weeks ago.
You know, I think Terrence Williams and Hasty has played extremely well, at least from a football standpoint. Shock has been, you know, he coming off a broken ankle last year, just trying to get back in the groove. And I think Iowa State was the opportunity for him to finally get back into it, get it back into the rhythm. And you can see what he can do when he's healthy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the mix-up will be today. I think Hasty still has to get a little bit more touches, but I don't know who's going to start the game in terms of running back.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are interested to see what happens early on. It's homecoming. I mean, there's a lot of excitement here at Baylor. There's a lot of people here at Baylor. They want to see these Bears come out and play well.
Well, you schedule games like this for homecoming. You schedule a game that you want to win, that you think you can win, and especially against Kansas, this is a game they have to win. I mean, you can't let it get to the fourth quarter like Kansas did against TCU last week. Like I said, you need to stay healthy. I know they have a bye week next week, which will help, but you need to stay healthy. You need to put points on the board and get those guys rest as you head into the meat of your schedule these last 5 games.
Well, we are looking forward to the football game today. Should be entertaining, and we'll see how long those Baylor Bear starters have to play here at McLean Stadium this afternoon. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to a former Baylor Bear about his time in the NFL and here at Baylor. You're watching Baylor Game Day live from Touchdown Alley on KWTX and Fox Sports.
My name is Mac Rhodes, and we're watching Baylor Game Day.
Well, we told you today is homecoming here at Baylor University, and that means the homecoming parade that rolled through Waco and onto the Baylor campus today as they get ready for homecoming here at McLean Stadium. Looking for a lot of fun, and that parade a big deal. All right, we're joined by a very special guest now, Daniel Sepulveda, who, by the way, was a 2-time All-American, a 2-time Ray Guy Award winner as the best punter in college football, and was drafted in the 4th round with the Steelers. Played in a Super Bowl and has a Super Bowl ring. Now, we were just talking about this. I'd wear that thing everywhere, man. I would not take that thing off, but you got another one on over there.
I do. This one's pretty special. Got this Baylor Sports Hall of Fame ring last night.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's pretty cool, too, then, yeah.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
I don't know if you could walk around with one on each hand. That'd be a little heavy. But,
right. Yeah.
What's it like to be back here for you and to take part in that Hall of Fame and everything else?
It's awesome. It's incredible to see how much ground Baylor has taken in the last 10 years. I guess it's already been. It's gone by fast, but boy, have they made the most of it. It's really fun to come down 35 and see the spires on the side, see them lit up, and to come on campus here now and to see this facility here is pretty incredible.
Is there any part of you that's kind of jealous that you didn't get to play right there?
Oh, sure, a big part.
Yeah.
I'll always miss Floyd Casey. It'll be a very special place, and drove by yesterday, saw it was gone.
Yeah.
But boy, the opportunity to play here, we talked about this and dreamed about this, so it's really neat to see that it's come to fruition.
What was it like to play not only in the NFL for a few years, but to play in a Super Bowl and to win that ultimate prize at that level?
Boy, the Super Bowl is it's a pretty special thing. It was fun to be there, not just once, but twice. You know, I'll never forget the things I learned going through that process, the craziness that is media day before the game each time, and just the whole experience to get to watch those guys up close and to be a part of that was pretty neat. More than that, the things I learned from not getting to play each time, I'll take with me for the rest of my life. The lessons learned, the things that God showed me through that difficult time was invaluable, and I wouldn't trade it for the opportunity to go back and play, that's for sure.
So what are you doing today? I mean, obviously still in shape, and we could use you at linebacker out there here in a bit, but what are you doing today?
Well, I can assure you that's not true. If I was on the field, it would make our chances worse today, that's for sure. I'm a first-year law student.
Okay.
I got married a couple of years ago and expecting my first kid here in about 3 weeks. So between those two things, thank you, keeps us pretty busy. Keeps us pretty busy for sure.
All right, let's go back to when you came to Baylor. Being an NFL punter was not part of your initial dream, was it? Tell us, share that story with our viewers.
So I walked on as a linebacker.
Right.
And as a walk-on, life can be tough. As a walk-on linebacker who's maybe not really a linebacker, can be really tough. So, boy, the first time I did inside drill, I got put on my back by a guy named Matt Bickle, Big 12 offensive lineman, and I started searching around the field for a different position pretty quickly. I ended up landing on punter, and within 12 months, I'd earned the starting job there, and I guess the rest is history. So it just goes to show something like this was certainly not on my mind when I showed up.
Well, it worked out okay.
Yeah,
it sure did.
It worked out for a lot of people. Daniel Sepulveda, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Welcome back. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame
fellas.
ring. Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Sepulveda, one of the great punters of all time here at Baylor University. All right, let's go to Taylor Williamson now, who's joined by Elliott Coffey. Taylor?
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, I'm down here in McLean Stadium, joined, of course, by Elliott Coffey, the former Baylor linebacker. Elliott, last time we saw this Baylor defense, they were having a fair share of trouble against the Iowa State Cyclones. What do they need to do this week to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think we need to pressure the quarterback. We need to make sure that we collapse that pocket and that we squeeze. We make sure that we pay attention to detail and communicate well across the entire defense, back seven as well, because you're going to see an air raid offense, kind of like you've seen in Tech in the past, and very similar to what we run. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to send it. We're going to look at some plays that I think fit that well.
11 a.m. road games in Iowa are hard. Iowa State came in last week well coached, bringing an energy and poise to the game that caught most of Baylor Nation off guard. For our initial play, it's 1st and 15. And a number of issues contribute to the downfall of this play. I'll start with Taylor Young. It's his job to disrupt the path and timing of the receiver's route. He does neither, leaving the middle of the field wide open and effectively taking Orion Stewart out of the play with him. In the words of my father on the golf course, when you're in trouble, get out of trouble. Rather than leaving his feet diving for the tackle, Orion needs to gather himself to make the tackle and force the ball back inside to his help. On the second play, I placed the blame on the defensive line. No pass rush. It's almost like they don't have eyes on the quarterback. Their job is to collapse the pocket and force the quarterback to throw the ball away or take a sack. With virtually no obstruction to the quarterback's timing, he easily delivered the ball downfield, lending no help to Ryan Reed in coverage. The third and final play seems to be an all-out mix-up. Lack of communication is our downfall here. On the bottom of the screen, what we see is the absence of situational awareness between Ryan Reed and Orion Stewart. One is supposed to be deep, the other is supposed to be covering short routes. Neither takes the slant, and it's game over.
Yeah, so what I saw here is something that we call it a banjo. It's when you have two receivers next to each other, you say, I have inside, you have outside. And regardless of if we're in man coverage, we make sure that if our guys cross, you take the guy that goes your way, I take the guy that goes my way. And on that last play, you clearly saw a banjo situation, but you didn't see the communication of the banjo, and that's what led to that slant route turning into a touchdown instead of potentially being an interception.
When you talk about that, communication can be one of the chief problems for defense. Hopefully they could get that all cleaned up. Have the game we expect them to against Kansas this week. Reporting in McLean Stadium, it's Elliott Coffey. I'm Taylor Williamson. Going to send it back to you guys.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. Now let's get a weather update. And for that, we go back to the KWTX studios and Rusty Garrett.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, it's a pretty good day for football. Skies are partly cloudy with some sunshine getting through. A little bit warm by mid-October standards. For those tailgaters and folks that are getting set for the kickoff, we'll still be inching our way pretty close to 90, and I think we're at that degree right on through halftime. Hey, at least the winds will be blowing this hot air around a little bit. 10 to 20 at kickoff, 10 to 15 at half, and we'll enjoy about a 10-degree drop in temperatures between halftime and fourth quarter when folks are leaving, driving home, about 80 degrees, and mainly clear skies. So enjoy the game. Weather-wise, could be a lot worse. Back to you at Touchdown Alley.
Thank you, Rusty Garrett. It could be a lot worse out here. It's quite nice, actually. A little warm.
Yeah, I mean, it says the guy inside.
Well,
yeah. No, this is not as bad as it was a few weeks ago.
You see our papers blowing around? We're okay with that.
The breeze
We
is
don't
nice.
mind the breeze at all. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will find out who is today's Back in the Day Bear. You get a sneak peek at it right here as you're going to see the baby picture. And then you got to figure out who that is. We'll show you coming up on the other side of the break. You're watching Baylor Game Day on KWTX and Fox Sports. All right, here's the Back in the Day Bear, the original picture, and you can figure out who that is. You guys figured it out yet? Did Sean tell us?
Who is it?
He hasn't gotten much bigger since then.
Oh.
Hey, he's good, though. He's good.
Quality baby pick?
That is not I don't know which pick is worse, honestly.
Ryan Reed.
Ryan Reed. Defensive back for the Baylor Bears is our Back in the Day Bear today. He's a cute baby.
Ryan is a great guy for us. He's a great leader for us, and we love having him play.
One of the pictures we had of him was wearing number 88. He was a receiver at one point, apparently.
When he was very little. Yes. Now he catches balls on the other
side.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we've told you, it is homecoming here at Baylor University. A lot of festivities going on. Not only that, there's a big football game today against Kansas. For more on homecoming, let's go to Madison Adams.
Well, guys, Baylor University was one of the first collegiate universities to host homecoming back in 1909. And while there are many traditions surrounding Baylor's homecoming weekend, it always starts with freshman mass meeting, where the freshman class gathers to remember the basketball team of 1927.
They were traveling down to play UT on Saturday morning, January 22nd, 1927, and the bus actually collided with a train in Round Rock, Texas, killing 10 of the student athletes at that time.
The men became known as the Immortal 10, and a statue on campus pays tribute to their lives.
You know, the Immortal 10 to us at least means that don't let their death be in vain. Remember that, you know, their potential that they had, you need to carry that forward and take it out into the world.
A few years later, the 1927 basketball team's legacy would continue when on his deathbed, Baylor President Samuel Palmer Brooks wrote a letter to the graduating class of 1931.
Because of what Baylor has meant to you in the past, because of what she'll mean to you in the future, oh, my students, have a care for her. To you seniors of the past, of the present, and of the future, I entrust the care of Baylor University. To you, I hand the torch.
It became known as the Immortal Message. Today, a torch is passed during freshman mass meeting, which lights the eternal flame, a statue which symbolizes the past, present, and future of the university.
It becomes this bigger and brighter flame where we get to live out that potential in their honor.
The 1,600-pound structure combines iron and sculpted steel and was created by a Baylor alum just a few years ago.
It'll be present at all aspects of homecoming,
helping the legacy and tradition of Baylor University to burn on. And here it is, burning with all its might, the Baylor University Eternal Flame, honoring the sacrifices, triumphs, and future of the university. Guys.
Madison, thank you very much. I know one of the interesting things this week that we heard at media availability on Monday was that the Baylor players don't really get involved in homecoming at all, except for the football game and maybe the pep rally.
Yeah, they said they have no idea stuff's going on. They said they get on a bus, they go to a bonfire on Friday night, and then they go back. Other than that, they have no idea what's going on, which is kind of surprising, but I guess, Terrence, you probably would think it's not.
Did you know?
No, I don't. I mean, a lot of times we're laying in our room and we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, checking out what everyone's doing, but we're prepping for a game. I mean, this, you know, someone asked me, hey, you going to a bonfire? I was like, I've never been to one. I don't think I'm going to start tonight. So, you know, I love the tradition around Baylor homecoming and the atmosphere, but we as players, we literally, exactly what Sean said, we go to the bonfire, have a 5-minute speech, and then we jump on a bus and we go back. And the next thing you know, I mean, after party, it's a different thing, but we're not going to say that on
As
air.
long as you win your football game, you've done your homecoming part, right?
Yep.
And you got to win the after party, too.
You have to win the after party, obviously. Truth don't lie.
Dan has never lost.
And we will get to that in a little bit. You know, there were some other things this week to talk about, too. Art Briles being at Cleveland Browns practice. Surprising?
No. Because I think, I mean, the guy, forget about whether you believe what happened or whatever. Whatever you believe is why he lost his job. Guy's one of the best offensive minds on this planet. Why would you not bring him in to help a team that's 0-5? You know, and I don't know. Personally, I think NFL might be a good avenue for him. Might be his best chance to coach again, too.
And you think it'll be the college level again?
Yeah, I think it's the college level because college coaches and college departments have a very short memory. You look at what Bobby Petrino did at Arkansas, and now he's one of the guys that has the leading Heisman candidate, and no one talks about anything he did other than he's the best quarterback coach in college football. You know, a lot of people say, hey, it's not bigger than football. And as you know, at Baylor Christian University, it's really not bigger than football. But in college atmosphere, the college atmosphere, nothing is bigger than football.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is if a coach can continue to win after whatever happens, all that stuff get erased. And that's one of the things that Joe Paul and Penn State didn't have a chance to do because they were so much older. Art Browse will get a chance to play coach college football again.
And we'll find out here in the next year or two where that's going to be. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk more about this football game. And, of course, we'll hear more from Elliott Coffey coming up as well. We have a very special guest on the way. Don't forget, you can get your Bear buttons inside McLean Stadium so you don't have to take them through the metal detectors. We've got those KWTX employees handing those out here at McLean Stadium today. You're watching Baylor Game Day live from Touchdown Alley on KWTX and Fox Sports. Welcome back to Baylor Game Day, and as we told you, it's homecoming here at Baylor University, so plenty going on outside of the football game, the parade, the bonfire, all of it today and last night as the Baylor fan base, Baylor Nation gets ready for today's football game against Kansas. The Jayhawks coming in off a tough loss last week. Speaking of Kansas, we have a former Jayhawk on staff here, but today he's focused on the Baylor Bears. That's Taylor Williamson, who joins us from McLean Stadium. Taylor.
That's right, guys. Former Jayhawk, but focused on the Bears today. And you talked about homecoming week, obviously a tradition-filled time, but I decided I wanted to take a look at one of the Baylor traditions that intrigued me the most. It only happens about 6 times a year and is reserved for, I guess you could say, the Baylor Cubs. This week's Behind the Green and Gold is on the good old Baylor line.
I've seen some.
I remember always coming to watch my sister when she was a freshman at Baylor run the Baylor line, and it was a huge deal. And I always was looking forward to the day I could come to Baylor and also run the line myself.
I can tell my friends, hey, like, you know, you go to this other college, but you don't get to experience what I get to experience at Baylor.
To the untrained eye, it's pure pandemonium. And in a way, it actually kind of is. Baylor freshmen sprinting on the field, welcoming the team, and then hustling up to the best seats in the house. But for the Bears, it's not mayhem, it's tradition.
The Baylor line started in 1970. It was a tradition where literally students lined the rim of Floyd Casey Stadium wearing the same color shirts.
Now, a question most people probably have is it safe? That's a reasonable question to ask with thousands of amped-up kids taking off onto a football field. Well, apparently there is, in fact, a method to the madness.
We actually have a crowd management psychologist that we outsource and consult with that helps us to manage both how the line is run, but also maximum numbers, safety protocols.
Once it goes, it's such a free-flowing thing, and you know, people really do get to enjoy the experience of it. Don't have to worry about their safety or anything like that.
And even as the students move on, the memories become a part of them.
TCU game was one of the greatest experiences I've had. We were all going crazy. We, you know, got onto the field.
We had an upset victory, last-second missed field goal by the University of Texas when they were ranked number 3 in the country. So we obviously stormed the field, tore down the goalpost, marched across I-35, and then leaned it up against the president's house.
And the line will forever remain part of the school.
So what makes Baylor very unique is that that's very much of who we are as a Baylor family, is that good old Baylor line. It's in our fight song, you know, it's all around campus. You see it everywhere. It's the good old Baylor line.
And this week's Behind the Green and Gold is brought to you by Pineco Tractor Supply Company. So, in just about 30-45 minutes, the students will start lining up at this ramp behind me and make their way to these seats behind me, best seats in the house for the freshman Bears. Reporting live in McLean Stadium, I'm Taylor Williamson. Back to you guys.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. I don't know that I'd want to do that. I mean, I guess you would if you were there, but I don't know that now I'd want to do it. I'm way too old to be running in front of all those people.
No, you know, I was in fall camp when I got here, so I didn't do the Baylor line. I still don't know the Baylor fight song because we didn't have a traditions rally for a week long because we was practicing twice a day. I mean, a lot of that Baylor stuff, I mean, I get it. I love the school, contrary to what I just said offline, but I think that football players need to enjoy some of that in the fall, at least get to experience some of that with the crowd, and we never get to do that.
You're a big deal around here. I bet we could talk to people and get you back into freshman orientation this year if you'd like.
Man, I'm sure I will pull a hamstring running down that across the field.
I think I would rather run head-on to Terrence Ganaway, the running back in his prime, than try and get in the middle of that mess.
It's tough to navigate that. All right, it's time to talk to head coach Jim Grobe, and for that we send it down to Madison Adams.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Coach Grobe. So, Coach, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk to us. So, first of all, Baylor's expected to win by about 5 touchdowns today. How do you not overlook the Kansas team?
Well, that's really silly to think of that. We know, we've talked to our players that every game we play going forward, everybody's going to have really, really good talent. And I think Kansas is very similar to Iowa State. If you watch the way they played in the first game to the way they're playing right now, for all intents and purposes, should have beaten TCU last week. So we know this is a Kansas football team that's playing their best football, and we're going to have to play good football to beat them.
And Baylor is ranked 11th in the nation right now. So how do you keep proving to the country that Baylor is a force to be reckoned with?
Well, I think the key for every team in the country right now, and we're no different, is to find ways to win games. No matter, they talk about, big spreads and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, do you win? Whether it's 1 point or 2 or 3 touchdowns, doesn't matter right now. The bottom line down the stretch is you got to win games.
And on a little bit lighter note, I know at the pep rally last night, Seth Russell and yourself mentioned that a few of the players weren't there because they got stuck in an elevator. So are they going to be out on the field tonight?
The thing that's embarrassing, I walked right past that elevator and didn't even realize those guys were in it. But I guess the doors were partially opened and it wasn't on the right floor. And we just happened, I think, to have too many offensive linemen. And so the good news is we got big offensive linemen. The bad news is they better not put too many of them in one elevator.
Well, there you go, Coach. Thanks so much for taking the time. We sure appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Madison, thank you very much. It's been an interesting week around here for Coach Grobe. There was a lot of talk about the Jeremy Falk story we did, and then, Baylor saying Coach Grobe dismissed him. Coach Grobe says that's not what happened. The truth don't lie. Hashtag came out. All the coaches supporting Jim Grobe. It's a good show of solidarity, but another tough week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say laughable, but every single week we say, yep, another distraction for Baylor. But here's the deal. They're undefeated. So, I mean, we haven't seen it affected on the field yet, and maybe we'll see it again. But, I mean, every single week it's never just about football right now. And that may be the reality for a few more months, to be honest with you.
Somebody sent me a message, and they said if you're going to say something that's not true about a coach, don't make it the guy that led the ethics committee of the AFCA for 8 years. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Grobe has no quarrels with anyone at Baylor. He wanted to come here to help this school get out of the mess that they were in. And to falsely accuse him for anything isn't right to him. And I think it showed his character. It's like, hey, I didn't have to be here. I wanted to come here to help. And I don't need you lying about me. And, I mean, we'll see. I think the guys need to go out there and just worry about having fun today and beating Kansas. But administration at Baylor can nip this in the bud and come out and talk to everyone. But until they do so, names will just keep dropping, and we'll keep asking questions.
Makes our job a lot of fun every week on Mondays, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of drama going into those Monday press conferences. I'm ready for that to be done. Let's talk football.
Yeah, it hasn't been boring around here. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Baylor Game Day. You're watching live from Touchdown Alley on KWTX and Fox Sports.
No use denying it. You're sick. You need a doctor in a hurry.
Center. Come experience the difference.
I'm Carol Weaver.
I'm Justin Dempsey.
Thank you for your business.
All right, time for the vault here on Baylor Game Day, and this time we go back just a few years. 2011, Baylor at Kansas up in Lawrence, and they were down 21 in the fourth quarter of the football game, and then came back, tied it up, went into overtime, and RG3 and company win the football game over Kansas in Lawrence. Heartbreaker if you're in Lawrence. Taylor Williamson was, by the way.
RG3 doesn't win the Heisman if they don't win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, yeah, big trouble.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of fun for Baylor fans to see that game go the way it did. All right, another special guest here with us, Trayvon Bromell, ran in the Olympic Games in Rio this past year, the 100, the 200, and was in the final of the 100 meters. And, you know, like a lot of other guys, lost to Usain Bolt. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, you know, running against Usain, and the experience was breathtaking.
What was it like to go to Rio in the Olympic Games after running at Baylor and having so much success here and internationally after that? What was it like to be in the Olympics and to be on that stage?
Well, it's pretty easy, you know, with the Baylor family and the support that I have here, supporting me all through the way. It was pretty much easy. You know, I had a strong mindset going in, and I knew what I was able to do. And so going into the Olympics, it was just smooth sailing. It was just another meet to me. I was just there for the experience, the run, and it was a blessing. I couldn't believe I was there and actually competing in it with everybody just showing you a lot of love. It was just something that you just can't go there and just not get the greatest experience of a lifetime.
So you're telling me when you got on that starting line, it felt like any other event?
Yeah. Well, that's just me.
All right.
That's just me. A lot of people might not have that mindset.
That's impressive. Maybe that's why you're really good.
Yeah, I treat every meet like it's the same.
Sure.
And I feel like that's where people go wrong. They look at it like, oh man, this is the biggest meet of my life. It's just another place that has 100 meters, same track, same people you've been running against all year. There's no reason to get worried or scared. I mean, it's just the same thing every time.
Now, I think it's safe to say you're the heir apparent, I guess, of American sprinting. You're the future. You're now, with Justin Gatlin, Tyson Gay kind of getting older, you're likely the fastest man in America right now. But at the Olympics, you had issues with your ankle. It wasn't feeling good. It was in so much pain. How does a guy who's going through that much pain finish 8th in the Olympics?
I feel like it has to do with a lot of heart and a strong mindset. I've dealt with injuries in the past, but I always tell myself, like, you can overcome anything. I'm a big guy on overcoming, you know, the adversities and things that you come across. And I felt like when I got to the line, it was like, I give up this dream or I go out there and fight through the pain. And one thing I've always was told by my friends, my family, my coaches, just stay strong and fight through the pressure, because at the end of the day, this opportunity may not come again. So I went out there and I gave it my all, and I was happy to make the finals and then actually getting out there and able to compete and complete the race. So I was happy with that, and I couldn't take that back for anything.
Has life been any different for you after going to the Olympics and being an Olympian on Team USA?
A lot of more people come up to me and ask for pictures and stuff like that. So growing up, I was never used to that type of stuff. So it's a lot different. A lot of love from everyone all over the place. You know, even here at Baylor Nation, all the love is strong, man. It's a breathtaking thing. It's overwhelming sometimes, but I love it.
In a good way.
Yeah, of course.
What's the road back from the injury like? I know you just had surgery not too long ago. How long? What's the timetable for your return?
Well, I was in a boot for 6 weeks. Now I'm doing rehab. It's kind of going pretty smooth. You know, everything, no pain at all. It seems like it's going to be a really fast process. I'm ready to just get back on the track and get to represent Baylor again and hopefully make my next USA team onto London.
You already look fast, so we're pretty excited about that. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. Welcome back to homecoming. All right, let's go back inside McLean Stadium now. Taylor Williamson standing by with Elliott Coffey.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, yeah, Taylor Williamson here with Elliott Coffey again. We talked last time about, you know, how the Bears could improve on what happened last time they took the field against Iowa State. Now we're looking ahead to Kansas. Not a lot of people, you know, think Kansas is going to threaten in this game, but you can't overlook them. Can't overlook any team in the Big 12.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's still a Big 12 game, and it's still our 6th game of the season. We're looking to go 6-0, and we're looking to become bowl eligible. And I think that we need to make sure we don't overlook this team. We need to make sure that, once again, we take it one play at a time. And we're going to look at a couple things that I think Kansas is going to threaten us with, and some things that I think we can do really well to make sure that, you know, Kansas doesn't slip up and become another trap game for us this month.
Without Bravion Roy, we need to see a great showing from Ira Lewis. One of the smartest things Coach Bennett and that defensive staff has done is get Trevon Blanchard and Pat Levels on the field at the same time. The guys are combined for 15 tackles for loss, as well as 4 caused fumbles and 4 recovered fumbles. We can expect to see a more updated version of the air raid offense since Coach Beatty is a Mike Leach product. Texas A&M transfer Quavonte Gonzalez has explosive speed and will pose a great challenge for our back 7. Fort Bend Independent School District product Steve Sims Jr. is a solid receiver on pace to break Desmond Briscoe's single season receiving record. The objective of this offense is very similar to ours. Spread the defense way out, run left, run right, running up the middle when your interior defensive linemen get tired. This also forces your safeties to come up for run support, and then you follow that play up with throwing it deep over the top.
So I think it's going to be important for us to play a faster-paced game out here today as well, because we're looking at a Kansas team that's coming from probably, what, 50, 60 degrees outside?
Well, something like
It's 91 out here. It's hot.
It is hot. We're drenched in sweat
We are sweating out here. So I think it's important for us to play a fast-paced game, to play our game as well, and stretch the field. I mean, I'm looking around at some guys. We've got Ishmael Zamora walking behind us now. Stretch the field. Challenge that secondary from Kansas to beat us, because you know that Shock Linwood, he's back on board right now. We're going to be fine on offense.
Yeah, and, you know, Baylor needs to start fast and play their game. This Kansas team's hungry. They want a road Big 12 win. They haven't gotten one of those in like 7 years.
Yeah.
But that's a look out from McLean Stadium. That's all for us. Elliot Coffey, Taylor Williamson. We're going to send it back to you guys.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. You know, we were talking while they were doing their coffee break. Different deal when you play Kansas here on homecoming as opposed to going up there, which is nice.
I mean, it's about, 200 people in the stands, really. Kansas is not very good. You're expected to win. It's just not a lot of emotion. Today is homecoming. Everyone's family and friends are in town. We're at home. So it'll be a little bit more emotion. The atmosphere will be a lot better to get our guys energized, ready to play football. But it is scary. I played in that 21-24 win over Kansas in 2011. It was a horrible game, and no one felt like playing. Halftime, no music playing, just boring. But we snuck out there with a win.
But even though you're at home, how do you get up for this game when you're favored by 5 touchdowns? I mean, this isn't the same as going to OU and playing Oklahoma.
The fans are going to help that. I mean, that's why you play at home. I mean, that 12th man down in College Station, it really affects the game. It affects the outcome of the game, and it really going to help us start fast today. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see here in just a couple of hours. All right, when we come back, we're going to go over the Big 12 action today going on around the country. You're watching Baylor Game Day live from Touchdown Alley on KWTX and Fox Sports.
Hi, I'm Grant Taft, and you're watching Baylor Game Day on KWTX News 10.
This is Baylor Game Day, live from Touchdown Alley on Fox Sports and KWTX News 10.
All right, welcome back to Baylor Game Day, and it's time to take a look around the rest of the Big 12 in today's Big 12 scoreboard. Not just a scoreboard, we have highlights for you. Let's start with Texas Tech hosting West Virginia today. West Virginia, one of the undefeated teams in the nation and the only other undefeated team overall in the Big 12 along with Baylor. And just getting it going early, Justin Crawford barrels through the defense and gets in for the touchdown, and it was 7-0. They reviewed that. He just did cross the line. 7-0 West Virginia at that point. Right now, the Mountaineers with a lead at Texas Tech, 27-10 over the Red Raiders, who've been scoring a ton of points. So a lead for West Virginia, an impressive showing so far today.
One other game going on in the Big 12 right now. Oklahoma taking on Kansas State at home. Early on for the Sooners, it's Baker Mayfield. The short pass to Samaje Perine. He's going to go 25 yards. That dude is so good. In for the touchdown. Oklahoma leading this one right now, 31-17 in the fourth quarter.
The other game tonight in the Big 12, Texas and Iowa State. That one will kick off tonight at 6 p.m. Boy, two teams in need of a win. Iowa State gave Baylor a run for their money a couple of weeks ago, but Texas, a team in need of a win after that loss to Oklahoma last week. The Big 12 scoreboard brought to you by American Bank. Our thanks to them. And when you look around the Big 12, guys, it's you know, West Virginia and Baylor both undefeated overall. Baylor hasn't played a terribly tough schedule to this point. A lot of their bigger games are coming up later on. West Virginia looks awfully good.
I would argue they have the best resume in the Big 12 right now, what they've done. They should be the highest-ranked team in the conference. They've beaten so far BYU. They went and beat K-State, and they're about to beat Texas Tech. I'm not saying any of those are top 10 teams, but overall resume, they've got the most impressive one. It might be time to start saying West Virginia is a legitimate threat to win the Big 12 this year.
But Oklahoma might still be the Big 12 favorite in a lot of people's eyes, especially after the win over Texas last week.
No, Texas is not as good as we thought they were. You know, obviously they beat Notre Dame, and then Duke beat Notre Dame, and then Duke got beat by BYU that West Virginia already beat. So, I mean, if you play that card, which a lot of people don't, I think we should really be thinking like Dan and say West Virginia is the best team in the Big 12 right now. They got Oklahoma at home. They got Baylor at home. They go to play Texas, but Texas could be horrible by the time
they have to go to Stillwater. That'll be a tough one.
Texas beat Notre Dame. Anytime you beat Notre Dame, you're back, baby.
Yeah, right? You're back to the bottom.
Yeah, that defense is atrocious.
In 1974, maybe.
Iowa State has scored more than 40 points each of the past 2 weeks. I mean, against quality competition, too. Baylor and Oklahoma State. And that Texas defense has allowed 50 over the past 4 games. What are they going to allow to Iowa State today if the Cyclones keep it up?
They might allow 40 to the Iowa State offense, which would be...
That's not good.
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect that coming into a season. All right, when we come back, time to wrap things up on Baylor Game Day. We'll have the 2-minute warning in just a moment. You're watching Baylor Game Day live from Touchdown Alley on KWTX News 10 and Fox Sports. All right, welcome back to Baylor Game Day live from Touchdown Alley. Time to wrap things up here as we get closer and closer to kickoff. Baylor and Kansas homecoming here at McLean Stadium at 2:30. 2-minute warning. Final thoughts today. What are you looking for today?
Go out there, have fun, win the football game, and let's get to this bye week healthy and get ready for the thick of the schedule.
How big is a second bye week in 3 weeks?
I think it'll be big, especially if someone get hobbled up. But I think a lot of it give us a ton of time to go over what Texas will do against us to slow us down on offense, and then how we can stop their offense on defense.
Wait, Texas can slow people on offense?
Well, not right now.
Maybe by then.
They practice against our offense every day.
I think today Baylor needs to not mess around. They need to come out firing right off the bat. Get points on the board. You're supposed to win this game easily. You need to win it easily. Get the starters off the field, go into the bye week healthy, and prepare for Texas.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to give Kansas any life after what they almost did to TCU last week.
No, you don't give them hope.
Right.
Don't give them hope. I want to watch Seth Russell today. I want to see – now, Seth Russell's been good this year. I don't mean to say he hasn't been. We have not seen dominant, like step on their throat Seth Russell, where he was running, throwing, doing whatever he wanted last year. I want to see if he comes back today maybe.
He just made the top 15 list for one of the big quarterback awards.
Again, I'm not saying he's bad.
Right, he's been good, but he hasn't been Heisman Trophy good.
Yeah.
Which he was before he got hurt last year.
Well, and this will be the first time this year that he's had a healthy Ish Zamora and a healthy KD Cannon on the field. I think that could help.
I think his throws and his decision making is different. You know, I know having an injury can be psychological, but he has weapons out there that he can throw the ball to. He just haven't been throwing the ball well. There's no zip on his ball on the deep throws, and sometimes they sell on him, get picked off, or you're allowed the defense to go in and break it up. But he's not himself.
All right, final score today. What is it? Baylor wins?
Baylor wins. I don't know the final score, but
give me one. Give me a guess.
27-28 Baylor.
Oh, my goodness. Repeat of 2011.
What do you think?
I think they win by 30.
35-21, lower scoring game than people think. Baylor wins.
All right. Very interesting. You guys are keeping it more interesting.
What's yours, Troy?
Oh, I think they win by 3 touchdowns. I don't think they mess around. I think Zach Smith gets to play a lot of football in the second half today. We'll find out.
Do they win by 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points, or just like 18?
Sure, why not?
Just saying.
Yeah, 21.
Let's get technical.
Cover that spread. You never know.
The 2-minute warning brought to you by First National Bank of Central Texas. We appreciate that, and we look forward to the football game today. That's going to wrap it up for Baylor Game Day, live from Touchdown Alley. You've been watching on KWTX and Fox Sports. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.